How's everyone doing today? This is JJ Domination, and today we got another Madden 19 video, but it's not going to be gameplay. It's going to be more of like a sit down and talk type of thing. So here's what we're going to cover today. This video is about the 5 most intriguing matchups for week 1. Now, it would be biased for me to put the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears on this list, mainly because I have a whole video about them. By the way, if you haven't seen it already, I recommend you go check it out, bub. But we're going to get into the matchups today. So number 5 on my list, I'm going to have to go with the Minnesota Vikings taking on the San Francisco 49ers. That's the matchup we're going to go with here today at number 5. Jimmy Garoppolo undefeated as a starter. Kyle Shanahan, one of the best offensive minds in the game. They'll be going up against a really tough defense in Minnesota. Now, last year they faced Jacksonville, but Jacksonville was kind of letting their foot off the gas towards the end of the year. So Jimmy G and company were able to put up 44 points. Now, Minnesota, they were the best defense last year. They were really good at getting the opposing offense off the field so that way they can get their own offense on the field to score more points. The Vikings have one of the best third down defenses in the NFL. They're really good at stopping the run. They got pass rushers. Their secondary's loaded, and it's even more loaded with the pickup of George Iloka and Mike Hughes in the draft at corner. And that front, they got even better. They added Sheldon Richardson, so now they have Sharif Floyd, Linval Joseph, and Sheldon Richardson. That's a nice 3-way deep tackle list. If you ask me to pick a winner, I'm going to go with the Vikings, man. I feel like at home, it's their home opener. I don't see them losing to San Francisco. I think San Francisco will put up a good fight, but eventually I think Kirk Cousins, I feel like he may have a little bit of I'm not going to say mediocre game, but I feel like he's going to have an average performance for what we expect from Kirk Cousins. I think he'll play well, though. I definitely expect, like Adam Thielen to be the guy in this game, because Stephon Diggs is going to see a lot of Richard Sherman, I feel like. Coming in at number 4 on the list, we're going to have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. And you're thinking, well, this is a matchup between two teams that aren't really that good. Yeah, you're right. But here's the problem. Andrew Luck, this is his return game. You know, it's been 2 years since he's played in a regular season football game. And here he is against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's going to have the opportunity to do that. At home against the Bengals. Andrew Luck, when you look at the supporting cast around him, he's got T.Y. Hilton, Jack Doyle, and Eric Ebron. That's about it. And if you look at Cincinnati, they got Joe Mixon, Giovanni Bernard, A.J. Green, Tyler Eifert, John Ross. I mean, they got some weapons. They got some guys they can get the football to. And, they have Andy Dalton, which, he's okay. He's average to slightly below average. But I feel like Andrew Luck is going to put these guys ahead. I am going to pick the Colts to win this game. I feel like it'll be close. Marvin Lewis is still the coach of the Bengals, so I don't trust him. The Colts have a new coach, but he's an offensive-minded coach, which is always good for a team that should lean towards putting weapons around Andrew Luck. They did address the offensive line this offseason by drafting Braden Smith and Quentin Nelson, 2 guards right there. Now they just got to get weapons for him. The number 3 game for me, I did a little bit of thinking about this one. It was kind of hard for me to pick, to be honest. But I'm going to go ahead and just look for the team right now. We're talking about the Denver Broncos taking on the Seattle Seahawks. This is a rematch of that, Super Bowl 48 matchup from like 5 or 6 years ago, where it was Peyton Manning's really abysmal game. Oh, my fault. The screen did a little glitch there. But it was where Peyton Manning played like in a really abysmal game, and they lost like 43-8. And they've played a few times since. I think it's been 50-50. It's been pretty split. I am going to pick Denver to win this game. I really want Seattle to win, especially with Shaquem Griffin and Shaquille Griffin, the 2 twins, starting. One starting at outside linebacker in the place of KJ Wright, the other playing cornerback number 1. I really want to pick Seattle to win, but I feel like Denver's offensive line is simply just better than Seattle's. And I feel like Case Keenum is going to be the ultimate game manager, where Russell Wilson, once again, with no run game, is going to try to do everything. in this game. And I feel like the dark horse candidate is going to be Royce Freeman against the Seattle front. It's a really good defensive line, but I feel like if Royce Freeman can get going early, play action is going to be deadly. And Case Keenum is a pretty good play action quarterback. I know I talk a lot of shit on him, but I got to be honest with you. He's pretty good at play action. He's pretty good at getting the ball to his playmakers. I can't down him for that. The number 2 matchup for me, it's pretty simple, man. It's going to be a great game of chess, if you ask me, and it's the Carolina Panthers taking on them Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to pick Carolina to win this game. I know Carolina historically has only beaten Dallas like twice, and one was without Tony Romo. The other one was before I was born. So I'm aware of the history here. I'm aware of the matchup history. I feel like this is going to be the ultimate game of chess. You got 2 offenses that like to run the ball, 2 offenses with not the greatest receiving cores, but they got some guys that can step up in this game, especially considering both secondaries are pretty young. Someone's going to step up and make a play out of the receiving core. My prediction for Dallas is going to be Allen Hurns is the guy that has the big game. And for Carolina, I want to pick DJ Moore, but I'm going to go with Funches. I feel like he's just a safe bet here to have a big game as a receiver. The reason I'm picking Carolina, though, is because they have a tight end and Dallas doesn't. I know as of recording this, I think Greg Olsen is questionable with a back injury. And if he doesn't play, then shit, they both don't have a tight end. But I like Greg Olsen, man. I've always been a fan of his, even when he was in Chicago, pissing me off as a Packer fan. I've always been a fan of his. He's just really good at what he does. He's the ultimate security blanket. Can get you those big third down catches, can break away from the secondary here and there. And the front seven, both teams' front sevens are actually really loaded. Dallas has a talented front seven on that defensive line especially. They have a deep rotation. It sucks David Irving is going to be suspended for 4 games. But Randy Gregory is reinstated as well. I don't know how many snaps he'll have. I don't even know if he'll play, to be honest. But I am a fan of both front sevens. I think Carolina's loaded and Dallas is loaded. The question for me for both teams are the secondary. And I feel like these 2 teams are very close to each other. Wouldn't be surprised if this is an overtime matchup, but I got Carolina winning. And for me, the number 1 matchup, pretty simple, guys. The Oakland Raiders versus the LA Rams. Let me go to the Rams real quick and show you their overall. This matchup to me was very simple. It's John Gruden's first real game back. I know he's been coaching preseason and stuff, but this is the ultimate litmus test right here. You're facing the Rams, who are just loaded everywhere except for probably linebacker. And the offensive line could probably use a little bit more strength at the guard positions, but dude, we're talking about John Gruden, okay? His first time in over a decade he's going to be coaching a regular season game. He gets the 10 o'clock Monday night game, so it's going to be a late game in the West Coast. It's going to be on at like 7:30. Over here in the East Coast, it's going to be like 10:30. So John Gruden, big Monday night test. You know, he's going to be facing the Rams, who are loaded on defense, with Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh and Michael Brockers on that defensive line breathing down your freaking neck. And in the secondary, I like Derek Carr. I do, and I like the receivers. I like Amari Cooper. Huge Jordy fan, obviously, as a Packer fan. It does suck to see him leave, but hopefully he continues to play well for a different organization. They cut Martavius Bryant, so it looks like Seth Roberts is going to be the third receiver. Against the Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters, and Nikel Roby-Coleman, I kind of have to give the advantage to the secondary of the Rams, and then they have John Johnson II, and they have LaMarcus Joyner as your safeties over the top. And I feel like the difference maker is going to have to be Jarrett Cook for them, because if not, these receivers may be in for one hell of a night. And I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball, to tell you the truth. The Rams, however, I feel like Todd Gurley's going to have a big game. You're going up against a defense that doesn't have Khalil Mack anymore. I expect Gurley to just go off. And, yeah, I'm a little biased because he's on my fantasy team. I picked him number 1 overall in my draft. It was between him and David Johnson for me, and that was rough. But anywho, it's not about fantasy football. We don't care about that. We care about the on-field product. I think Gurley's going to have a big game. Brandon Cooks against, who's their corners? DRC and Gary and Conley versus Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp. I'll take the Rams product over who the Raiders have in their secondary. I just feel like the Rams are going to come out here and dominate. I feel like Gruden's going to make it an interesting game. He may go for it on some 4th downs early. He may spice it up with some weird play calling. I don't know. We'll have to see if John Gruden can be an innovator or if he's going to do the same old shit that he did back in his day. But really, those are the intriguing matchups for me. Hopefully, your favorite team wins. I know I have a lot of Falcons fans that are like friends with me, and it sucks. I know you guys lost that really close game. Have no one to blame but yourselves, maybe? I don't know. There are a couple honorable mentions, like the Houston Texans versus the New England Patriots. I did want to put them on my list, but I feel like there wasn't much to talk about besides Deshaun Watson, like the return of injured players. That was really it. There was no like intriguing storylines besides players returning. I guess you can even go with Redskins Cardinals. You get David Johnson and Alex Smith. You know, Alex Smith obviously on his new team, and David Johnson returning from injury. There was just no like intrigue. It was just a bunch of returns. Where here in these 5 matchups, I feel like there's a lot of intrigue, and it goes a little deeper than returns. It goes with teams that are very similar to each other, teams who just have the pure advantage. You know, I like storylines, and I feel like if I can get a good storyline for this game, it's going to be a good product. But hopefully you guys enjoy. Let me know who you think are going to win these games down below. I have the Rams winning this one, by the way, if I didn't say. Let me know how you guys feel. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and just stick around for more. Even turn on the notification bells. You never know when I'm going to upload. Hell, you might miss the 1 o'clock in the morning upload. You never know. Peace out, guys.